Hey everyone, this is Keats Snideman from coachkeats.com. Today I'm with Patrick Ward from optimalsportsperformance.com, and I want to go over some of the basics of sprint or speed drills. There's so many drills out there that are done that it almost, I think it's kind of paralyzing to people. What I want to do is just show just the most fundamental drills that, in my opinion, have some sort of transfer or carryover to sprinting, because you can get so bogged down in drills that you never have time to actually sprint. So all we're trying to do with these drills is try to replicate a particular portion of the stride or the sprint activity. The first one we're going to do is going to be the butt kicker. There's some controversy with this one because there's two different ways you can do this. You can do this more as just a sort of a dynamic hamstring and like quad stretch where you're not really worried about flexing the hip but just flexing the knee. Patrick is going to show this, and notice for these drills I have two cones that are only about 10 meters apart. That's all you need. If you do these for a lot longer than that, you're going to incur a lot of neural fatigue and you're going to break down your form, and your brain is going to remember the bad form. So this is not a workout. All we're trying to do is prime your nervous system and your body for fast, quick movements that are going to be involved in sprinting. So Patrick's going to show more of just the knee flexion version here, which is just a good dynamic warm-up for the quads. Go ahead, Patrick. He's got a little bit of hip flexion, but he's focusing more on just bending that knee. Good, and go ahead and just walk back, Patrick. So you want to walk back in between so you get a little bit of recovery. We're not trying to use this as a workout. And then what he's going to do here is he's going to do a little bit of a combined high knee and butt kick, and this some people feel is a little more specific. I have a tendency to do both with my training and with some of the athletes that I work with. And typically you're doing anywhere from 2 to 3 times 10 meter distances with maybe a 20 to 40 second rest in between. That's usually enough. After that, I like to go into the A skip, which simulates sort of this lifting motion that needs to happen in a top sprint. Go ahead, Patrick. So it's sort of a skipping motion. And he's adding the arm action. Now, he's not doing this crazy fast. You don't need to be at like race pace when you do these. You're just trying to tell the brain about the ranges of motion that you're going to be doing. From there, you go into what's called the B skip. Now, this is the one that's probably the most butchered or the worst performed, and people really just are kind of flailing their arms around. So what I'm going to have Patrick do first is do a walking B skip. And he's not worried about his arms here. He's just worried about getting that hip up with the knee bent. He's extending. Go ahead and walk back. And the key is you want your foot to land more or less underneath your hip. If you're teaching yourself to kick out too much, that's going to basically teach you to land like this. So you're landing well in front of your center of mass or center of gravity, which is actually going to be like a braking mechanism. It's going to slow you down. So the idea is to flex the knee and the hip simultaneously. You step over the opposite knee and then you come out and down at the same time. So the real emphasis on sprinting really should be down and not so much up. So I'm going to have him do it dynamically now. And go ahead and add just a little arm action. He doesn't need to be really crazy with his arm action, just that reciprocal motion. This is one that if you don't feel like you're really doing it right, you might want to omit, because it can actually teach you some bad technique. But it is the most sort of specific drill, I think, to sprinting that there is. And the last one we're going to do is just the basic high knee pattern, which is similar to the butt kick high knee one, but he's focusing more on an up and down action. The arms are pistoning, elbows about 90 degrees. You want to think of the surface as being relatively hot. So this is probably the fastest drill that you would do, and usually it's the last drill that I'll have somebody do before they actually then go into warm-up accelerations. So hopefully that's been helpful. There's a lot of other drills you can do, but these would be sort of your minimalist, most fundamental drills that would help you in preparation for sprinting. For more tips, you can go to my blog, coachkeats.blogspot.com. Patrick Ward also has a blog, which is
optimalsportsperformance.com.
Sorry, I'm not as good with the memory about blogs. And thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it.